Hey, everybody. So good to see you. Y'all know, if anyone knows me, you know that I start right the frick on time. So welcome. Hold on, let me turn this off because it's still technically playing. That was my song Inevitably, the instrumental version. It's gotten a bunch of placements, and I figured I'd just play it because I know a lot of you are working on getting some sync, right? So if you haven't yet, say hello inside the chat box. If you are watching on the In the Key of Success page, you should be able to see the chat box on the right. If you're on a mobile device, unfortunately, you won't be able to see the chat box there, but you can click the YouTube button below to go directly to YouTube and type in the chat box there. Hope that makes sense. If you are watching this back, welcome. I love you too. But I love the people that are watching this live more. Just kidding. I'm going to be trimming this to start in a second here. So welcome to Mastering Manifestation. And I am so psyched to see you all. Hello, Robin and Mia and Clankus and Brad and Madi. So psyched that you're here. Share the bliss. Love that username. Carolyn, Stephanie, so good to see you all. Hello, Victoria, Jeff, Mark. Yay. This is going to be awesome. This is not Manifestation 101. It's called Mastering Manifestation for a reason. I talk quickly. There's going to be a replay. It's actually the exact same link, spoiler alert, but you'll get an email tomorrow about that. You can watch it back slower if you need to. I'm going to pop over to slides and sort of set up this workshop. It is a workshop, so I encourage you to grab a pen and paper. I haven't made a PDF of the slides yet. There's so much stuff in there. I don't think you're going to need it. You can grab screenshots if you need it. If you all beg, maybe I'll make a PDF. We'll see. We'll see if you need it. Cool. So I'm going to pop over to slides. I can see your comments, but there will be a designated Q&A at the end. I anticipate this being an hour and a half, no more. And it's designed to change your life. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. So I see you all being here. I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're here. Yay, yay, yay. I'm just going to check my internet really fast. Make sure I'm on the right one. Stand by. I think we're good. And, you know, I'm getting a notification, check your internet. So I'm checking my internet. That's what we do on these things. And hello, everyone. Hello, Roman. Hello, Tiffany. Just so excited that you're all here. Jill, yes. Oh my gosh, Jill Alexis. Oh my goodness, I love the positivity here. All right, so I'm just doing one final check on all the things here. Stand by. Great. Okay, all things are good. So I am going to pop over to my slides. Boop. And now I'm tiny and I don't want to distract you with my really gorgeous face. So I'm going to pop off and I can see your YouTube comments, y'all. So yes, I can see the comments. I prefer to focus on presenting to you and then do questions. So if you ask a question in the YouTube comments, I may miss it, but I will also ask for you to do some chatting and stuff in the comments. So yes, I can see them. Love that. And I'm going to disappear from this tiny little block here. Just let me know, can you see? Oh no. Can you hear me now when my face is here? That makes sense. That makes sense that I have to keep my face there. Let's try this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I want you to just see the presentation. So you can hear me now, but not see me. Is that correct? I love you all. Thank you so much. Okay. we're going to keep it going then. So here we go. Welcome to Mastering Manifestation, which is what I said when I disappeared. All right. Today's workshop, and it is a workshop, meaning we're going to work it. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to go into some groundwork, just lay some groundwork so we are all having the same conversation. We're going to do some introductions. We're going to talk about the myths of manifestations, and we're going to lay out some assumptions that we are going to all take on for the next hour and a half. Okay, cool. People are very excited that Shanna and Heather are here. And Carolyn, everyone's like, oh my God, everyone's loving each other. I love it. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some space. I'll talk about what that means, as well as get clear. I'll talk about what that means. And we're going to practice cohesion. I'll talk about what that means. And then we're going to go into structures to quicken and increase manifestation, including a bonus opportunity. Obviously, I've got a bonus opportunity. You know that bonus opportunities are my favorite things ever. And then we'll do Q&A. Cool. All right. So that's what we're covering today. I'm going to talk fast. I know I got a lot of energy. That's kind of my jam. It works for a lot of people. It doesn't work for some people. If it doesn't work for you, just take what you can take. It's all good. And you'll be able to watch this back at the exact same link at 0.75 speed, like, 75% slower. You're going to be able to watch it back slower. And you can absolutely take notes. You can screenshot this, etc. All right, let's get going. Oh, and then we're going to workshop each of these steps. So I'm not just going to like throw stuff at you and expect you to like embody it and understand it and like turn it into your life. We're going to nail it all. All right. So the point of today's workshop is empowering you to become the source of your success, AKA pulling in your own results whenever you want. As a musician, and you all know I'm a musician, and I'm assuming most of you that are here are as well. I used to, for years, wish that someone would find me. And that is not empowering. That is not empowering. So, knowledge never changes behavior. Behavior is the cause of results. Therefore, learning alone will not generate results. So I am talking to all of you people who are my learners, who love to read books and take the courses and all of the stuff, which there is nothing wrong with that, but there's more to it. There's embodying it, and then there's actions to take it. There's a whole thing, right? We're going to get into that. So if you are constantly in learning mode, investing in programs, reading books, etc., but not seeing any changes, this workshop is going to connect the dots for you. That's what we're doing here. Yes. Okay. Intros. I'm Cheryl. So I want to share with you my manifestation journey rather than like my resume. Like you're here because Chris SD told you that I'm awesome and you should be here, or because you're already in my world. You're in Amplify, which is my amazing mastermind, or you're in my In the Key of Success world. So most of you know me, so you don't need my resume, but I want to share with you my manifestation journey. In the early 2000s, so I'm talking after I graduated college, many, many, many years ago, I started small. I was coming home from a gig late at night, and I lived in Harlem, where people are parked and they're tucked in and going to bed like 8 o'clock at night. Like you cannot find a parking spot in Harlem. And I was coming back from a gig and I was like, I am exhausted. It's midnight. I do not have time to like drive for 3 more hours looking for a parking spot. And I was like, you know what? There's going to be a parking spot in front of the building. I just feel it. And I literally believed it. Boom, parking spot. That was the first time I felt magical. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's start small. And I started doing that almost religiously for years. I would tour, come back, Saturday night, shouldn't be a parking spot, found a parking spot within a block. That was like, okay. I was like, okay, cool. That's cool. Then I started to look into it and research and do some personal development growth. I started getting my training as a coach in the later 2000s. And I was like, there's more to it. I started committing and not taking any BS in the music industry. I got my first $15,000 license when they offered me $500. And I said, you know what? I think this is actually worth more than that. How about 15,000, which was literally the exact number I had just put on a credit card to finish my first album. And I was like, I would like to make that money back like really quickly. And I got 15,000. So the commitment was there to become masterful at this. I was like, okay, I see. Thank you for the best outfit compliments. I appreciate you. All right. So then in 2006, I was like, wouldn't it be so fun? I was talking to a bunch of friends. I was like, I'm going to start touring because I had my first album come out. I was working on my second album. I was like, I've got a band. I love them. We've been doing local gigs in New York City. And I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be so fun to travel somewhere random like Switzerland? Literally a month later, one of my good girlfriends from high school, whose parents had a place in Switzerland, invited me to Switzerland for New Year's. All expenses paid. So what did I do? I went on to MySpace. Yep, MySpace. And I looked up other Swiss artists. I looked up dude guitar players because I'm a chick keyboard player, and I thought, who better to tour with and balance out the sonic experience than that. And I found this guy Baum, and he Baum, and he would open for Elvis Costello in Switzerland. He was like his standard Swiss opener, and so he was just about to do a tour for 2 weeks, starting the second week in January. So guess what I did? I got on that tour after going to New Year's with my friend, and boom, now I'm touring in Switzerland, and I end up touring another 7 times there. So I started talking about stuff and realized that when I say stuff, it happens, and I have to be careful about what I talk about. This is literally how my album last year happened. I said, oh, I don't want to fly to the Grammys. It's so expensive. What if I took a train? Boom, I'm taking a train across the country. I end up writing an album on that train. That train gets nominated for a Grammy. So I say things and they happen. I have to be careful about my manifestation, but that stuff is powerful. Okay. In 2007, I got my first coach, my first career coach, and she had me write out future visions for 3 different areas of my life. And I picked 1 music career, 2 music career, and 3 music career. And she said, no, how about you pick some other part of your life? Let's say relationships. And I was like, no, relationships get in my way. They take me away from my music. I'm really focused on my music career. I love music. She was very insistent that I write out this vision for romantic relationship. And I was like, fine. She made me do it like 3 times before finally settling in. I was like, okay, this person like totally supports my music career, and it like doesn't get in the way, and I described what he looked like. I described like his attitude, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, I meet my now husband. He was in the audience at a show, and I showed him this letter, like probably 6 or 8 months into dating. And it was the first time I saw him cry. I was like, I conjured you. I like literally, like you didn't exist before I created you in this letter. So writing is powerful. Let's skip ahead. In 2016, I started feeling. So we were looking for a house, and I found my dream house after Pinterest boarding forever. And the house, we put in an offer, and apparently there were 17 other offers because there were no houses like it in this price range in the area. And we put another offer in, and they rejected it. And we put 3 offers in, and they kept rejecting it. The house went off the market. And I remember the house was empty. The people had moved out. I remember coming to the house like during that time at night and sitting on the front porch and crying and just like feeling how much I loved this house. And lo and behold, 2 months later, on my birthday, side note, our real estate agent calls and says, hey, remember that house that you put 3 offers in on? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, the deal fell through, and they want to go with you because they want to go with someone who's really serious. And they could tell by the fact that you put in so many offers that you were serious. And guess where I'm recording this from? That house. That was in 2016. All right. In 2022, I started being. I have been wanting and talking about getting a Grammy nomination for about 17 years. And I was never ready for it until last year. And I started looking at, and we'll talk about this in this workshop today, what does a Grammy nominee look like to me? What are the characteristics of that person? And I really started taking that on, in addition to doing a lot of this other stuff, everything that we're going to talk about. And lo and behold, here I am on the red carpet as a Grammy nominee. So that's my manifestation journey. It's been a part of my life for a very long time, whether I knew it or not. And I'm excited to share all this with you. So you should also know that besides being a Grammy nominated musician, I'm also a certified trauma-informed success coach and facilitator. I have been speaking on stages at South by Southwest and CD Babies Conference for over a decade, and I'm highly trained at working with individuals and getting through their blocks. So that's cool, right? Just so you know, the references, scientific studies, and evidence sources for this talk include all of these things here. My own experience, Heart Math Institute, dozens of books. My 3 favorites are listed here. A bunch of different coaches that I follow and have worked with personally, including Christine Hassler and Preston Smiles, and a bunch of different training programs. These are the ones that came to mind. I have been doing this work for a long time. So I am not going to get into a lot of the science, the biometrics, and the neuroplasticity that is behind some of the stuff I'm going to show you. I'm going to skip to the point because, again, this is mastering manifestation. If you want to go even deeper, then, that there's like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of work we could be doing around this stuff. So let's talk about manifestation myths. I did a post in the Key of Success Facebook group, and y'all were so honest, and I love it. There's some beautiful, beautiful comments and thoughts, and I want to make sure that we are all on the same page here as we move forward. So the first myth is manifesting is wishing for something. Wishing is a beautiful thing, wishing upon a star, and it might be the very, very kernel of a seed of the start of manifestation, but it is not what manifesting is. Manifesting is only for woo-woo people. I don't even know what that means, but it's not true. Listen, I have been collecting rocks since I was like 6 years old. It turns out some of those rocks were rose crystal, quartz, and amethyst. And so it turns out I like crystals. So maybe I'm woo-woo, I don't know. And manifesting is making stuff happen. So, I think that a lot of people manifest, whether they know it or not. Okay, manifesting is for people who make vision boards and journal 5 hours a day. You guys, I hate journaling. I have journals. I've been journaling since I was 6, but I write in my journals about once a year when something really big happens or I want to write a summary. I am not a journaler. I actually created a journal called Luminary, the Luminary Journal, for people that hate journaling, just to write down things I'm grateful for and to be mindful of some things. But I do not write paragraphs. Like vision boards, I'm not an artistic person. If you tell me to get some magazines and cut things out, first of all, I'm left-handed. Scissors suck for me. Like I don't do it. I just don't do it. So this is not manifesting. Manifesting is hard. Manifesting it's not easy. It's a skill, but it's not hard. Get it? Okay, cool. Manifesting requires a secret password, a blood sacrifice, and the dawn of a new moon. Like, it's not ritualistic. It's not, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, you absolutely can create passwords for yourself. You could do a blood sacrifice if you get a paper cut one day. And we love dawns of new moons. We really do. But that's not what manifesting is. And this is another myth, and I'm not even going to talk about it because it's so ridiculous, but manifesting is somehow anti-faith, pro-hippie. I mean, what's wrong with hippies, really? Lawless, non-creative. We know that. That's what I have to say. None of this is true, right? None of this is true. Manifesting is making stuff happen. If we want to get really technical with the definition, according to Merriam-Webster, manifest means to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. So I really want to focus on the certain by showing part right there. So much in the music industry is uncertain, is waiting for other people, is pitching. I mean, a lot of you are in the art of the song pitch. It is up to other people. What if it could be certain for us? And by showing or displaying, meaning we're seeing it in our lives. We're literally seeing it. It is being shown to us here in our lives. Cool. So I love this definition. I mean, I say manifesting is making shit happen. Pardon my French, y'all. You get it, right? Okay, cool. So let's move on. Let's look at some assumptions. These are assumptions that I'm going to throw out there that are part of the rest of the conversation of this workshop. If you don't understand, believe, quite get any of these assumptions, it's okay. You can just take them for what you can. Take them with a grain of salt. The first one is that thoughts equal frequencies. Every thought has a frequency. And when you have a thought, you're creating a frequency, not unlike when you're tuning a radio. It's like an AM station and you find the right frequency. They're unseen, but they're out there. And every event object has a frequency. So we're going to go with that assumption. I'm going to get more into that in a second. Everything is made up of energy. We're going to go with that assumption. All possible futures exist. All possible futures, which means almost an infinite number of possibilities. Like when I made my album last year, I thought to myself, there is a future out there where I get nominated for a Grammy. There is. I mean, there's a lot of futures where I don't, like many, 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 many. But there is one that I do. And we're also going to add this to the assumptions. You have the power to pull in whichever one you choose. Okay, y'all, I'm drinking water in the background. This is one of my first presentations this week after recovering from really bad COVID. So That's fun. The last one, you create your life. This is something that you can argue with me till the cows come home and I will die on this hill. You create your life. You can create your life. Some of you are not creating. If you're like, why did that bad thing happen? It wasn't because you created it. It was because you weren't creating. That's what we're doing in this workshop today. Cool. Give me a yes in the chat box if you are still with me. Are you with me? Are we cool with these assumptions? Can we move forward? Can we move the forwards? All right. Let me know. You know, there's a delay. This was perfect timing. I can take a sip of water. All right. And yes. All right. You're all with me. I'm so excited. Yay, 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 yay. So let's quickly, we're still in section 1 here. Let's just look at frequencies. This is from Joe Dispenza's book. Which one is it? Becoming Supernatural. So the definition of frequency is the rate at which something occurs or is repeated over a particular time or in a given sample. A little scientific. Or 2, the rate at which a vibration occurs that constitutes a wave, either in a material, as in sound waves, you all know about sound waves, or an electromagnetic field, as in radio waves and light, usually measured per second. So if we're looking at 1 second on the right here, there are emotions, and there is stupid amount of scientific studies that have backed this up, that higher frequencies, meaning more little peaks per second, are elevated emotions like bliss, freedom, love, joy, appreciation, gratitude. And the lower frequencies, meaning less peaks inside of 1 second, are down by lust, pain, victimization, shame, suffering, guilt. And those are slower frequencies, and they're survival emotions. If any of you have ever studied energy centers or chakras, these kind of align with when you're blocked in these chakras. The lower chakras or energy centers tend to be where guilt, shame, suffering can live if they're blocked. So don't worry too much about this. We're not going to get into that kind of conversation, but I just wanted to put this here for context for those of you who have taken a look at this stuff. Okay, moving on. More frequency. So emotion is energy, E, in motion. Energy in motion. This is not unlike, so when we're having emotions, we have thoughts about our emotions. Like, I'm sad. Some of the thought, like if you're feeling sad in your body, you might create thoughts like, I wish I wasn't sad. And then you'll be sad that you're wishing that you weren't sad. Or maybe you'll be thinking, I shouldn't be sad because I'm so blessed. I have all these things, but I'm still sad. So you're going to create thoughts in your head, and your brain actually creates these electromagnetic frequencies that act like a magnet. So see the magnet, the blue and the teal and blue? We have a magnet in our bodies. We all know that our heart has electromagnetic stuff going on, right? Like that's why pacemakers work, literally shocking the heart. There's a little brain inside of our heart. And so the heart and the brain together create this field. We're going to talk more about this, but when you see the two people with fields that are overlapping, that's when you start to get coherence and you can start healing people. I've been part of a brain science experiment that actually studies this exact stuff. It's super fascinating and I can't get too much into it, but every object, event, person, emotion has a frequency. So the frequency of one crystal or rock is different than the frequency of a tree, right? And this has all been recorded, like the moon has a frequency, like everything has a frequency, which is the idea that all events in the future have a frequency, and we just need to align ourselves to attract the right one in. So frequency coherence is, like I just said, alignment of thoughts, emotions, aka the body, and the event you're trying to pull in. By the way, this little picture here, this is why you can feel someone's vibe. Have you walked into a room and you can just tell someone's pissed? And maybe they're like smiling and they're like pretending they're not, but you like get a weird icky feeling from them. That's what's happening. There's incoherence. So their aura or energy that they're putting out is actually affecting yours and is not aligned with yours. It's not coherent. It's cool, right? So there are so many books and things and workshops and scientific things I could talk about here, but I'm just going to leave it at this. It's a little like tip of the iceberg, but just go with me here. Okay. Because we're working under the assumption that energy is motion and everything has a frequency in order for the rest of this talk to make sense. Yes. Y'all are musicians. Harmony. harmony. Yes. Okay. Yes, there's like 1,000,001 sources from peer-reviewed papers at heartmath.org. That was a link earlier on. Okay, so, and this is from heartmath.org as well. Frequency cohesion. There have been studies of the biometrics of the heart where when someone is very, very frustrated, look at the left on the red there, that is what is happening inside of their heart versus when they are feeling in their bodies appreciation. Look at that cohesion, right? So it's chaos versus cohesion. It's the same thing is on the right there. It's the same idea of going from frustration to appreciation. So what we're trying to do is get cohesion in our bodies, cohesion in our heads, so that we can actually attract in the thing that is of the same frequency. Okay. So moving on. There it is, heartmath.org has a lot of this stuff. So these are my graphics that I made. So this is essentially the overview of what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to put this into reality. So this isn't just some theoretical, like what? Our brain has a thought. So let's say the thought is our champagne win. I'm going to talk about what champagne wins are in a second. So that's what that champagne is. The champagne win is the thing that you want. So for me, I'm just going to use my example of the most recent really big one that I had was getting a Grammy nomination. So I thought about a Grammy nomination for a while, but I didn't just think about it. I didn't just say, I am a Grammy nominee. I am a Grammy nominee. You can say affirmation. I love affirmations, but they have to be embodied. You have to be feeling them as well. So the idea of me putting out the thought of I am a Grammy nominee, there's a possible future that I'm a Grammy nominee, right? And that future, that event of becoming a Grammy nominee has its own frequency. And I'm going to pull that frequency in by experiencing what it feels like to already have gotten it. This is how you know you've gotten that alignment, by experiencing the frequency that the event already happened. So this clicked for me last July, about 5 months before I got nominated. And I've been doing these meditations for about 3 years, these sort of cohesion meditations. And it clicked for me because I suddenly felt, it was almost like a band of light across my chest, what the frequency of a Grammy nomination felt like to me. And I could think about it and settle in and start thinking about the Grammy nominations, think about it. And suddenly I would like feel this like warmth, just like love, like, but it was a little bar. It was like a strange little rectangle right above my heart. And when I got nominated, that's what it felt like. Okay. So what happens then when you feel it in your heart? It goes back to your brain and you create this cohesion, right? You create this on the left there. You create that electromagnetic field that is all making sense. There's no chaos there. So the problem with affirmations when you're like, I am wealthy, and then in your head and your body, you're like crunched up and you're stressed and you're super not feeling the I am, well, there's no alignment, right? You can't create that cohesion. That's chaos, right? Your brain is thinking one thing, your body and your heart's thinking another. So that's why you got to get them on board. Cool. All right. So that was a lot of body, brain, assumption stuff, but we're going to go with it. Are you still with me? Give me a yes. Because we're going to workshop this a little bit. Just for a hot second, give me a yes if you're still with me and you're ready to workshop it. So first thing is we got to get you on board that you're a manifester. Yes, 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 yes. Love it, y'all. Love it. So write down all of the current beliefs you have about manifestation, including the word itself. Like, I don't get it. I don't love it. I used to hate it. And now Cheryl's convinced me that it is awesome. It's science-based. It's not just woo-woo. It's like whatever it is. You can write it in the chat box. You can write it on a piece of paper. Just jot down a couple words about the word manifestation. By the way, you can also come back and do, I'm not going to give a lot of time for writing down. So you got to write fast because I want to present a lot of stuff here. You can always come back to this and do this work like really well and like journal on it if you're a journaler, etc. All right. Write down your current beliefs about your ability to manifest. Like maybe you've tried before, or maybe you've like tried everything and you're not seeing any results, or you've done all the courses and you're still not seeing the results you want. Like all of that, whatever that is. Or maybe you're like, I know I can do it. I just want some more skills, or I need to practice, or I need some structures. Like what's your thought about your own ability to manifest? Give me that too. Then this is a longer exercise, but write down the things you know you've attracted, right? Like my Switzerland tour. I know that I said that and that happened. Like that was not fluke. That was not fluke, right? So what are some things that pop out to you over your own history that you know you brought in, that you said or you thought or you created, right? Cool. Yes, I love this. I can manifest 10K tomorrow. Yeah, you can. Working through things, totally. Feel scattered, totally. Ram truck, yes, love it. All right, so you've got evidence. We love evidence. Yes, science loves evidence. I was a biology major at Cornell University. I like me some research. My first job was scuba diving for the United States government, doing water quality research. I love me some evidence. All right, I'm gonna put myself back on the screen. I love me some evidence. So you have evidence in your life already that you can manifest. So this is the history of attracting results. Put that on your paper so that you can start seeing you have evidence that you can do it. Cool. Okay. I'm going to go back. Boop. All right. Let's see. What else are we doing? We're workshopping. Oh, last thing here. All right. Write the answer to this question in the chat box or on your piece of paper and or say it out loud. I would encourage you to say it out loud. Are you willing to be open to a new way to get results? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. Are you willing? I want to see some yeses. I want to see them. Because here's the thing, like you already have results in your life. I know that the people in my world that are here, that are from In the Key of Success, that are from Amplify, have already created results. My happy place and my superpower is living inside of now what? How do we grow that? How do we amplify that? How do we become leaders in our space? How do we spread that? How do we give that? So there can always be another way to get results other than the way you're doing it. And you might be someone who's like, I never get results. I try really freaking hard and I don't get results. So yeah, I'm going to be open to a new way to get them that's not so hard. Love this. I see the yes, yes, Tanya Joy, yes, Will, Dan, Robin. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. We're going to keep going here. We are in the second part of this presentation. The universe is a vacuum. So we need to make space. One of the things that has been proven over and over again is the universe is a vacuum, meaning when you take something out, when you clear some space, if you are not intentional about what you are filling that space with, the old crap is going to just come right back in. So you can break up with a boyfriend who was not good for you and you knew it. And if you don't make any changes and are not intentional about what you want to bring in for the next guy, you're going to get another guy just like the last one. Who knows what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. We've got to be intentional. So we're going to make space, and you can't make space and then like expect stuff to come in. You got to make space. And then the rest of this workshop is going to be, what do we put in that space? Space is important. I think a lot of people, and this is like a rookie manifestation mistake, is people start by saying, okay, I want to manifest. I'm going to go get X, Y, and Z. Like they have a garage with 2 shitty cars in it. And they're like, I want to go get a really, really nice car, but they don't have space in their garage. You have to clear out one of the crap cars first, right? So that's the idea here. So you can't attract anything if there is no room for it. You might see it. It might come over for a second, but then leave. We also want to regulate. This is like a really weird one. We want to regulate your nervous system. Meaning, are you feeling safe to attract this thing in? If you are not feeling safe, so here's a great example. I do a lot of this work in Amplify. By the way, I'm going to talk about Amplify a lot. It's my mastermind that I love. I'm a coach inside of this mastermind for musicians, but it's something I talk about a lot inside of Amplify, which is we have been trained when most likely when we're little kids. I'm going to pop in here because you can see me. We have been trained. I'm going to be bigger. We have been trained to accept a threshold of comfort. We have a comfort zone. For a lot of us, we were taught that if we work hard, this is mine. If I work hard, really hard, I'll be successful. So when something shows up for me that's actually easy, It's outside of my comfort zone. Like, this is my comfort zone of work hard and you'll be successful. And I'm like, wait, that came really easily. There's no way that can possibly be successful. So I will do things, self-sabotage subconsciously. I don't know I'm doing this to have that event go away, whatever that result was going to be, and come back into my comfort zone until I notice what that comfort zone is and I get myself comfortable outside of it. So when something that is not normal for me shows up, my nervous system doesn't take over and say, no, this is not comfortable. This is not the norm. We might be in danger. That's what's happening in our nervous system. So I'm going to go back to here. So regulating your nervous system can be as simple as breathing in through your nose. By the way, when you think you're regulating your nervous system by taking big gasps of breath through your mouth, that's what we do when we're running from a tiger. You're telling your brain that something's wrong. So you want to breathe through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, there's actually a communication going on to your brain that you're safe. So if you are feeling stressed or like, oh, this is not comfortable, or I don't actually want to do that thing in my calendar because what if I email that person and they say yes? Fear of success, anybody? That can be scary. So we want to breathe through our nose and out through the nose. Breathe through the nose and out through the nose. It's not like a natural way of breathing, but it will send the communications to your brain that you are safe. There are no tigers chasing you. We can actually bring in this new thing that is technically outside of that learned comfort zone and be okay with it and make that the new normal. All right. I could do a whole other workshop on that alone, but I'm not going to. So do the work to recognize your comfort zone and what created it. The ways you can, by the way, recognize your comfort zone is go into therapy, get a coach, or join Amplify, because we talk a lot about this stuff there. It's often one of the bigger reasons why people aren't seeing results. It's not that you need like the newest and coolest marketing tool and like chatbot. Those are cool, but usually this is closer to the source of what's actually stopping you from getting really big results. So breathe in and out through the nose to indicate safety. All right, now we want to talk about cleaning so that we can clear to make space for, we want to make physical space. I literally cleaned my desk, did my laundry, and took the trash out before this workshop. Like, cleaning and clearing, it does something for the energy around you, right? If you're going to create this big, beautiful energy field, which can get out to as far as 9 meters, it's been proven. Like, do you think my energy field is going to be like, oh yeah, I want to hang out in your dirty COVID tissues? No, not at all. So, we want to clear our physical space. We want to create a nice, clean digital space. If you have a messy inbox, this might be something worth taking a few hours to clear out. If you're expecting a really important email, one that's like, hey, I would like to send you a contract for this sync placement. Is there room for that in your inbox? Right? Okay. Relational space. Oh, how much of our thought and our energy and our bodies and our everything is taken up by how we are thinking about other people and what we're worried about and how angry we are at them, or they didn't show up and they didn't do the thing. We got to clear that up. We're going to do that in a second here, or I'll tell you ways to do that. Okay. So let's workshop it. Let's workshop this clearing out. So clear out a space for you to do this work. So this might mean creating a creative space, right? To create your songs, the songs that you want to put in sync placements. It also might be a separate space, one where you can meditate, where you can ground, where you can take a break if you get a stressful email, one where you can regulate your nervous system and you know that's your safe place. And you start to really train your body. When I'm in this place, it is safe for me. And then you can do this work that we're going to be talking about here. So you want to clear out the physical space. You want to clear out space in your calendar. I do like this this might be physical if you have a physical calendar. This also might be your digital calendar. We're going to talk about calendars a little bit more later on in the workshop. I have taught masterful calendar classes. Calendars are a huge part of why I can do a million projects and have a ton of energy and sleep a lot. It's my calendar. So making space in your calendar. So if you want to know what you prioritize, look at your calendar. That's what you prioritize. And you want to make sure that your calendar is your calendar, meaning it's not just for appointments where you need to show up for other people. Like there's the dentist, there's this when I take the kids to soccer, blah, blah. Like where are you scheduling your time to create? Where are you scheduling your time to work on pitching? Where are you scheduling your time to dream and imagine what is this champagne win? We'll talk about that in a second. Put it in your calendar. And then we got to clear up space in your head that's taken up by negative or unhelpful feelings. I have become so mindful of how I scroll on social media, what I'm looking at, what TV shows I watch. I don't put crap in my head. It affects our bodies and our thoughts and our dreams. And it's very, 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 very important to watch what you're intaking the same way you watch what you eat. Also, have difficult conversations. That might mean creating some boundaries. I could do a whole workshop on creating boundaries. Like, how do you talk to that family member that is texting you all the time and you feel like you need to respond? Asking for help. Oof, my lone wolves. Who are my lone wolves? Who's a wolf? Just write wolf in the chat box, where you're like, I can do it by myself. I know how to do it, so I might as well do it. I don't have money to hire anybody. I don't want to be a burden, so I'm not going to ask for help. All of that, y'all, my lone wolves. This will take up so much more space. And the space that you're taking up with this lone wolf crap is the space that you could be bringing in new results. Wolf, I see you, my wolves. I see you and I love you. I see you and I love you. Matt, Ernie, Jeff, Paul. Yep. Oh, we got some emoji wolves. Yes. So that's something also to work on. And asking for help when you're asking it, and I have a course on pitching, when you're asking it in a way that empowers the other person to say yes or no, you're not burdening. You're creating the request in a way that they have the freedom and the choice. Choice is one of the most powerful human needs. They have the choice to say no. And if they say no, then you're like, okay, cool. Okay, cool. Lone wolves. Yep. All right. Working with a trained coach or therapist to dig deeper is always a really great way to clear out some space in your head that is being taken up by stuff that you know is not serving you. Right? All right. We're moving on. Are you with me? We've got 2.5 more little modules here. You guys are doing great. We're totally perfect with time. This is my favorite part of this whole talk. Getting clear on what do you want. Yes. Specificity matters. All right, I'm gonna come on again because this is good stuff here. Hi, everybody. Specificity matters. So one of my very good friends, who's this genius rock climbing Princeton grad author who travels the world and like is an ambassador to Ethiopia. She's just amazing. She was 41 and for the first time wanting to get pregnant. And she said that she had this mantra: I create healthy, robust babies. I create healthy, robust babies, that she said to herself every morning and every night for I don't know how many months. I create healthy and robust babies. She was not specific and she had twins because she said babies. I mean, technically she was specific, right? And that was not the plan. So specificity matters. I did not say, oh, wouldn't it be cool? And I didn't know I was doing this at the time. So full disclosure, this was like baby Cheryl manifesting. But when I said, oh, it would be cool to go to Switzerland, I said Switzerland. Like I didn't say like, it'd be cool to go somewhere exotic to me. It would be cool to go to Turkey or it'd be cool to go to Europe. I said Switzerland and then I end up in Switzerland, right? Specificity matters. All right, I can stay on for a little bit more. Specificity is usually there's a by when and usually there's like a number or an event attached. Like for me, I knew that my desire was to get a Grammy nomination in 2022. For some people, it's like, I hear this a lot. I want to just grow my fan base. I just want to like have more fans. What does more mean? Like if I sign up for your email list, are we breaking up the champagne? Let's bring. So there's often a by when and there's a number attached to it. So this is a champagne win, right? I call it champagne win because when I celebrate, I drink champagne. And I only drink champagne when I'm celebrating. I only drink any alcohol when I'm celebrating. So, and I talk about champagne wins a lot, not because I drink champagne a lot, but because it's such a good distinction. Like the example of I want more fans, or I want to get into sync. Let's do that one because I know a lot of you are dealing with sync. Like I want to get into sync. Like what does that mean? Right? Like I want my first placement by October of 2023, or I'd like a $15,000 placement, or what is the champagne win, so that it's so clear that if you say it to anybody, everybody knows when to break out the champagne. So I know that for my amplifiers here, anyone that's an amplify, go ahead and share what your version is. So some people have like their whiskey win. I just heard one that's a strawberry smoothie win. I love that. Some people it's like a pair of shoes win for the big ones. Like whatever it is for you, that's your version of champagne win. And for a lot of people, it's a champagne win. But the idea is it's so obvious that everyone knows when to celebrate. So you need to know what your champagne win is. Cool. Everyone cool? I feel like I want to stay on camera, but I also want to make sure you can see these slides because the print is small. All right. The next thing we've got to do with the champagne win is not just be like, okay, this is the thing I want. What does it feel like? So this is where the visualization stuff comes in. It's a very small part of the whole picture, right? This is where the vision boards, if you're creative like that, you can create that. Like, what does it feel like to get this thing? Like, what would you be feeling if you just got the news that the thing happened? And you've really got to do some imagination here, which you're all creative. We make music. We create something from nothing. So this is not a far stretch here. The other thing that is really great about champagne wins is that they beget each other. Meaning when you're around other people sharing their champagne wins and achieving them, yours are more likely to happen with velocity. Cool. So surround yourself with wins and notice your own, right? It may not have been a champagne win for you to get on this call today and take time out of your afternoon to do some learning, but it's a win, right? So start noticing your own wins, whether or not they are the champagne win. I like to have one champagne win at any given time. These are not like tasks that you have to do. They are actual goals, milestones, whatever word you want to use. I don't love the word goal, but milestones for your life, for your career, etc. Cool. All right. Let's workshop this. This is real simple here, you guys. Define your champagne win. What do you want? Let's put in the chat box so yours might inspire someone else to get clear on theirs. This is what is the thing that you want? And it could be this year. It could be this month. Like we do this in Amplify in the beginning of each month. We define what would make this month a really big win, right? So go ahead and take a second to figure out what do you want? If you're in the sync program, and you're really working on getting your music into TV shows, what would feel like an absolute baller win? Okay, cool. I see it. Get my health on track. What does that mean? What is health on track? Is that your blood pressure is a certain number? And you don't have to share this, but just there's no specificity in that. So when there's no specificity here, I'll be a little woo-woo with you. The universe is not going to know either. If you don't know exactly what you want, no one's going to know how to show up and help you with that. Right? I want to get on the Billboard chart. Cool. People can be like, what does that entail? It means sales for my genre, right? It means I need CD sales. Cool. How do we buy your CD? Then there's actions to take, which is something that's coming up next is you can want this thing, but if you're not in action, we're not manifesting. Cool. Getting my stuff paid by a real orchestra. Get specific. 1,000 patrons by December 2023. Shanna in a dress. There you go. Sally in 4 years plays sold out tours. Venues more than 500 people. Yes. First placement in sync this year. Great. Love that. Songs placed in a TV show this year. One of my songs placed in a TV show this year. Okay. Love it. Sell out my first print. Sell out my first print means you know how many prints you have. So we know how many we're selling, right? Okay, cool. Yes. Declutter all my stuff before moving in April. Does that mean everything is in a box? Does that mean you've sold everything? Is that a feeling? Very rarely, but it is possible where your champagne win can be I feel a certain way. I've been really stressed and I feel really heavy. And now I feel this lightness. It's so subjective, but it's yours, right? So you get to define it, right? Okay, cool. Top 10 in CBC Searchlight Song Contest. Very, very specific. Love that, Devin. A 15K sync placement in 2023. Frank, yes, yes, yes. Half the songs on my new record placed in sync. That's 6 songs. Love it. By when, Roman? Y'all are getting it. These are awesome. And if you see someone else's that you're like, that's a cool goal. I like that too. Grab that one. Why not? Love it. All right. Now we got to schedule time. So first of all, do you feel the energy? You feel the energy when you're seeing other people's champagne wins because we're starting to feel like this is possible. and what that actually feels like and what actually is happening of, oh, this is possible, is we've now defined out there that this particular event in the future. So we're actually feeling the frequencies of these events that everyone's listing here. You guys, are you getting that? I'm coming back on screen. Are you getting that? This excitement that we're feeling by reading everyone's wins, we're starting to feel what's possible because these are the events that we are pulling from the future into our lives right now. You are that much closer to pulling that in. Okay, so we're feeling it, right? So we've got to create this ongoingly. This isn't a one-time thing. You've got to keep, like, I meditated about a Grammy nomination for 3 years. I have been talking about it since 2003 when the Grammys were on my birthday, and my friend said, I think you could probably get one of these. So this is not a one-time thing. Got it? Okay. I'm going to disappear again. So you got to schedule time. This is where your calendar comes in. You can't just be like, oh, I'll think about it whenever I think about it, whatever. Schedule it. Now we're going to start to slowly transition into the being of it. So this is make a list of the characteristics of someone who has already achieved or received the same thing. What are they? The person that has your 3 1K minimum sync placements, Harriet. What is that person? Is that person confident? Is that person like really creative? Are they graceful? Are they like, y'all, think about your champagne win, whatever you just typed or wrote down. What are the characteristics of someone who already achieved that? So what I started doing, I'm just going to use the Grammy nomination again because it was so crystal clear for me last year. I started thinking about, how does a Grammy nominee act? And by the way, my nomination was in New Age, right? So it's like meditation, calming, healing, processing music, right? So I remember a very specific, I'll come on and while I tell the story in case I gesticulate, because I do just gesticulate while y'all are writing down these characteristics, where my husband had loaded the dishwasher really badly, like wrong. And I'm like, how many years have we, what? How old, what? And I had all of these judgments and like, I was so annoyed and I stopped myself from like having a little outburst. And I was like, what would a Grammy nominee in New Age do? And I was like, I could rearrange it or I will just close it and press start. And I did that. And then a way of being kind of like clicked in for me. And I really took it on. Like, and of course, how I do the dishwasher has nothing to do with the New Age Grammy. Like, nothing. Or does it? To me, it did. Y'all get that, right? Okay. Moving on. You can come back to this. Don't forget. Talk about it. Y'all, I've seen some memes and like posts on Instagram where it's like, don't share your goals with anyone. Just do the work and then share when you're done. And I think that is utter horse poop. Like 100% no. If you don't share what you're up to, no one can come in and contribute to you. That is a lone wolf mindset and it does not work. It does not work. I started talking about The Passenger, which is the album that I created when I first had the idea. I started saying, I would like to be on the Billboard charts. Yeah, I've never been on the Billboard charts ever. I wanted to be on the Billboard charts to get my fans involved because they could buy the album and share the album. And then the idea was to get industry people to see me on the Billboard chart and therefore nominate me for a Grammy. It was part of my Grammy goal was to get on the Billboard chart. And I was so scared to announce that I was going for a Billboard chart with my new album because I was like, what if I don't get it? And I just said it. And I'm doing this album. And a lot of people like don't talk about an album and like, but no, talk about it. So long story short, every time I've opened my mouth, nothing bad has ever come from it. My husband would disagree with that. But most of the time, talking about the thing that you want is a really good thing. So your assignment here is find at least 3 people to share the champagne win with. So that could be someone in your family, a bandmate, someone in Amplify, if you're in Amplify, someone that's in this chat that you're friends with, like, hey, so the champagne win I created, or the goal that I have for myself, or I just did this workshop and I'm really psyched that I finally got specific on this thing that I want is, and then go share it with somebody. Okay? And then you get excited about it. Every time you talk about it, you create this dopamine hit in your brain. You start to create the chemicals that your brain needs to send the emotions back to your body. So this gets easier. Okay. Put the win in reality. So what I mean by this is, how are you going to remember what the champagne win is that you just wrote? Put it on a sticky note. Create a like a little graphic. So every time you turn your phone on, it's like reminds you. Like I had a picture of a Grammy on my phone forever. So how are you going to remember it? How are you going to see it in reality, not just in your head? And then the being check. Are you being this person right now? Are you being the person who achieves this stuff? Are you doing the work of the person that achieves this stuff? Right? Okay. You guys are doing so great. We are perfectly on time. Give me a 1 if you're like still here with me in the chat box. Type a 1. It's super easy. It's the number on the top left of your keyboard. Just go 1. Give me a 1 that you're here. I'm going to take a sip of water. This is my water goblet. It is ridiculous. And I put little like door pads on the bottom. So it's so quiet. So quiet. All right, let's get into cohesion. I see all your ones, y'all. Thank you so much. I was waiting for the delay there. Okay. Y'all, there's the result. That's the champagne win, right? And the opportunity that leads to the result. Rookie manifesting mistake. Starting with the opportunity rather than getting clear on the result. This is like, oh, sync sounds like a cool thing. I'm going to take this course. That's the course to learn about how to do sync right is the opportunity. But you don't have the result yet. So what are you even creating? You're creating knowledge. And we already distinguished way back in the beginning, remember, that knowledge alone doesn't shift behavior. And behavior is what fuels action. So knowledge does not equal action, right? So do not fear if you're like, wait, I'm already in all these courses and everything. That's okay. We're going to make the most of it right now. First of all, you've already defined your champagne win, right? So now you can take this opportunity that you're in and say, how can this opportunity that I'm in leverage the result that I'm going after? It can help bring that champagne win in that event from the future into my reality. Cool? All right. Ideally, we're going the other way around. Ideally, we're starting with the result and then we are open to the opportunities to show up. So we got to think. So this is the ideal order. Ideal, not you're bad and wrong if you did it the other way around. Okay. So y'all got that, right? Think about the result. This is your champagne win. Just define that. Experience the sensation of the result. This is the elevated emotion, right? The bliss, the gratitude. You have to experience the sensation of that thing already happening. And by the way, don't tell me that's impossible to do. Okay, you guys, I'm going to come on because I'm going to get crass for a second. We know that when you have a thought, you can create any sensation in your body. Think about it. If you are in a completely dark, black, no stimulation sort of room, you can have a sexy thought and have a sensation in your body, a physical response in your body, correct? Correct. Our memories are the things that happened that had a big emotional response, either positive or negative. Think about 9/11. If you're from America and you were born then and around, you can ask any American where they were on September 11th, 2001, and they can tell you. Can you tell me where you were September 15th, 2006? Most likely not, unless some big emotion got embedded in your body. So we can generate any feelings we want in our head by thinking about it and doing that work. It is very possible. It's very possible. Okay. So experience the sensation after you think about the result, and then be open to the opportunity for the result to show up and take actions accordingly. So This is where alignment comes in. So being open to the opportunity might be like, oh, I decided that I want to get a $15,000 placement. I'm not quite sure how to do that. And then you get an email from Chris SD saying, hey, I just opened the doors to my course that teaches you how to do that. Boom, opportunity happens. Then you go buy the course and you take the action. Boom, we are in alignment. Love it. Other ways to be in alignment, and these are other things that will actually speed up manifestation and the results getting pulled in. Gratitude is one of them. Generosity is another one. An action plan. We're going to talk about all 4 of these separately. Don't worry. And implementation. Having a plan and not implementing it doesn't count. I'm saying that for the people in the back. Those who have the planners and make the lists, but don't do anything, you are not manifesting. You are missing a step, right? Even if you're doing all of the other, I've got the champagne win, I'm experiencing a sensation. If you're not taking actions and implementing them, we're not gonna see the things. We're not gonna see the champagne wins. Okay, so back to this figure. This is from Joe Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural. The thing you're attracting has a frequency most likely up at the top. The bliss, freedom, joy, appreciation. So if you need to be the same frequency as the thing that you're pulling in, right? That was one of the assumptions. We got to hang out up there. So we got to clear out all of the stuff that's at the bottom, the pain, victimization, suffering, shame, guilt, blah, 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 right? And just looking at this little caption here, emotions are energy in motion. Like we said, all energy is frequency and all frequency carries information. Like when we tune a radio, AM, FM radio, right? There's information in there. So when we send that thought out with that frequency of the thing that we want the champagne win, and we catch the thing of the same frequency in the future, we're pulling it back. So weird, totally works. And there's a ton of brain science that shows this is a thing. Okay, cool. So alignment is connecting the mind to the event, right? The win in the future, to the body, the feeling, to the actions. That's alignment. And stuff happens when we are in alignment. So let's get clear. What are you thinking about all the time? What are you feeling all the time? Who are you being with other people, especially as well as with yourself? And who are you being around? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because they influence us, these other people. And of course, what actions are you taking? Are you planning your work and working your plan? Are you? Okay, so let's workshop this bit. For 7 days, hopefully more, write 3 things that you're grateful for when you first wake. This was one of the first things I started to do to combat my anxiety and panic attacks in 2015. And then I started writing my favorite moment from the past 24 hours. And you know what started to happen? I started looking for my favorite moment. Like throughout the day, I'm like, ooh, is this going to be the thing I write tomorrow morning? Ooh, is this the favorite moment? Like I'm snuggling with my dog. I'm like, this is totally the thing I'm writing tomorrow morning. When you start to look for those positive things, more and more of them start to show up. This is the attitude of gratitude, right? It's a real thing. And it generates, like gratitude you saw on that frequency table was very, very high up. It is one of the most reciprocal sort of attraction feelings is gratitude. Another thing to do, and this is something you can do, you can write all these down and sort of create your own little morning routine or nightly routine, whatever, is each day notice where you can be generous and then take action. Generosity is a cousin of gratitude. It's going to help the manifestation stuff. Okay. By the way, I don't have a link for it, but on Amazon is the Luminary Journal. It is very short. It's like half a page of like these little prompts. If you want an actual journal, I have been using it for like 6 years. I created it because I couldn't find anything that wasn't like, I didn't want to write essays. And I also wanted a little bit more than like just a gratitude journal. So that's a thing that you can search, type my name and then Luminary Journal or something. Okay. Plan out the next 4 weeks. In Amplify, we work monthly. 4 weeks is a really good amount of time to work on milestones, working towards your champagne win. And you can also put action items into your calendar. This is very important. Working out your calendar for the next month is way easier than like planning a 5-year. Like this is what I'm going to do, in March of 2025. Like it just doesn't make sense, right? So plan out just the next 4 weeks, start small. Only put what will make a difference into your calendar. So if you put something in your calendar because you feel like you should, but you know it's not going to make a difference towards achieving this champagne win, like don't put it in your calendar. Like clear that crap out. We don't need that. We don't need to do stuff just because we feel like we should. If it's going to make a difference, put it in. If it's not going to make a difference, don't. Each week, pick one thing that needs to be done so that you're in a new place the following week. So it's like if all of the life stuff happens and the kids get sick and the electricity goes off, if you do this one thing, you will be in a new place next week. That feeling of stuckness, of I haven't done anything, of non-productivity goes away if you set one thing a week, and no matter what, you get this one thing done. Like if I have to go to the library to get the Wi-Fi, like over my dead body is this one thing not getting done. And one thing is way more manageable than 900. And then when you're being mindful of one thing, you know that that thing is going to directly help you getting your champagne win. So you're going to be a little bit more mindful about the tasks that you're actually doing. Create your accountability structure. I'm going to give a couple options for this. This is really important, especially for my lone wolves. You want to be holding yourself accountable in a way that feels sustainable. So let me talk a little bit more about that. Before I talk about that, let's just do a quick review here. So we went through the intros, myths, assumptions of manifestations, and you're all here with me. Love it. We make some space. We want to clear out room digitally, physically, relationally to make room for this thing that we want to attract in. Yay! Yay, the thing, right? We want to get clear on what the thing is, right? If we're not clear, then we're kind of walking through the marshes of no man's land. We're just going to keep doing tasks and keep feeling like we're spinning our wheels. Then we're going to practice cohesion. This is the thought into the heart, the feelings, the body into the actions, pulling that event in the future into our present. And structures we're going to talk about this right now, structures to quicken and increase manifestation, including the bonus opportunities. So I'm going to dig into this right now. This is the stuff that will have all these other things that we've talked about, and the graphics and the science and all this stuff. It's very inspiring. I am not here to inspire you. This is the problem with a lot of music conferences, and you get inspired, but then you're like, how do I make this last past 9 o'clock tonight? Like, seriously, how do I turn this into a practice that is easy and I don't need willpower to change my whole life? You don't need to do that. So let's talk about these structures that can support you. So manifestation structures, ongoing, sustainable, meaning manageable, doable, like not a shock to your daily nervous system, not a shock to your calendar, not a shock to your family. You're like, now we're moving to Tibet. No. Okay. Ongoing sustainable support. So I'm going to list a couple of my favorites. Some of these will work better for some of you than others, and you might have some that are not on this list. So I'm just going to toss out a couple of them and then go into a few deep ones. The first one is optimizing and utilizing your calendar with integrity. Calendars are not for everyone. I think they're for most people, but they may not be for all people. And there are so many different ways to work your calendar that I could do another 3-hour session on just calendar stuff. If you're an Amplify, I give a lot of different calendar tips, from block work to scheduling work to, in our work days, we talk a lot about different ways to work, and we do our 10-minute sessions versus our 2-hour sessions. So there's a lot of different ways, and you need to learn what works for you and experiment with that. Accountability partners, groups, and communities are also great. This is you telling someone else, this is a thing I want, and them saying, cool, I'm in, game on. This win is now my win too. This is not just telling your spouse or a parent who's like, yeah, okay, good for you. This is like, let's meet every week and you tell me what you want to do by next week. And then next week, hey, did you do that thing? No? Cool. What stopped you? Let's dig in. Oh, you did do it? Cool. Let's celebrate, because that's a win, because you did the thing, right? Super powerful. Regularly sharing out loud, on paper, or to others your current champagne win. This ties right into the accountability partners, because they're a great place to do that. You can also talk about it on social media. You can talk about it in your journal to yourself. You can daydream about it, right? The musician success cycle is something that you all have inside your In the Key of Success portal. I can do another workshop just on the importance of this. It is 5 phases that you are all in one of them, only one of them. And when you know what phase you're in, you give yourself so much permission to focus. Focus is not a 4-letter word. It is a gift to yourself and whatever projects you are working on. So when you log into inthekeyofsuccess.com, you'll see on the top right, log in. If you haven't created your portal yet, which you should have, click there and you'll go through a little process. It's free. And when you get in on the left, there's the musician success cycle. There's short, like very short little videos, and you can figure out where exactly you are. When you join Amplify, you get a quiz that will actually tell you where you are. Very fun. So absolutely do the musician success cycle, because you're going to get so much freedom and clarity on where you are, especially if you're like, I have a lot of things to focus on. I don't know which tasks to prioritize on. Like, that is a common question I hear a lot, especially when you're working on something like Sync that's brand new, but you still have to do gigs and you still have songwriting to do, and you have bandmates and families to take care of. So it's like, how do I make time to bring in something new? This is going to help you do that. Blinder removers. This is what I call blinder removers. This is someone else who has an outside perspective, like a coach, a therapist, or a guided mastermind, right? So we think these are, again, this is sort of a cousin of the lone wolves. We have our blinders on. We're like, I got to do this. This is my champagne win. I got to go. I got to go. I got to go. And you might totally be missing something that's blocking you from just getting that thing right now. So when you talk to a blinder remover, they take the blinders off and you're like, whoa, oh, got it. We love blinder removers. We love them. All right. So workshop it. This one's easy, y'all. Choose your manifestation support structures and stick to it. Choose it. All right. So I get the question a lot, and I'm going to actually dig in a little bit more into support structures, because I get the question a lot of what's the difference. So before I go in, I want to just make sure, can I go in a little bit deeper? And I'm just checking in to make sure you're all still alive. You're doing great. We only have 19 minutes left here. Can I dive into the blinder removers? Give me a yes or no. And then we're really close to the Q&As. So get ready with your questions. Don't ask them yet, because I'm not reading the chat box too much. I'm reading it, but I want to make sure that, that I can finish presenting this. So we're going to dive in to what blinder removers actually can do for your manifestation practice. Thank you all. I see your yeses. Oh, I love you all. All right. Coaching versus therapy versus mastermind. I get this question a lot. Like, what's the difference? And what should I do, if anything? So Preston Smiles, who's one of my favorite coaches, he's a little sharp, and he says, good coaches work with you on achieving an objective. Therapists intend for you to come back and keep talking. I don't want clients for 19 years. Now, I have done my fair share of therapy. I didn't feel, I'm still not there 19 years later. And that's sort of saying what I actually think is the point, which is therapists tend to focus on talking, and they focus on the past and the present. Coaches tend to focus on the present and the future. Highly trained coaches are able to bring in all three, depending on the needs of the client. So there is a distinction between coaches and therapists. The other thing is, let me just take a sip because I'm kind of losing the voice thing. Thank you, COVID. Is the therapy industry is highly regulated, and the coaching industry is not yet, which is a good and bad thing, meaning anyone can call themselves a coach. I see so many music marketers that call themselves coaches, but what they're doing is they're advising you on the marketing technique that worked for them. And maybe they read some books. That's like the bad end of the spectrum, right? The good end of the non-regulating is that we can bring in, as coaches, a lot of different elements, that like somatic work, and as well as inner child work, as well as internal family systems, as well as setting thresholds. Like, there's so much stuff that we can do without having to say, okay, this is my practice, therefore I'm only allowed to practice this. So there's that too. And then masterminds, which tend to be super expensive in general. I'm talking, like, I've seen a lot of masterminds that are like between $1,000 and $10,000 a month to join, and you get these high-end experiences where it's like community plus coaching. So masterminds can be a variety of elements. They can be a main source of community events, and at times coaching, depending on who's leading it. There can often be a combination of in-person, live, online, and work at your own pace content available. And this is what I wanted to create for musicians like 8 years ago. So I did. And this is Amplify, BT dubs. Okay. So the last 2 minutes are going to be about Amplify and give you an opportunity to join Amplify before our Q&A, because obviously I'm giving you a bonus today. And so start thinking about your questions. If you're already in Amplify, there's actually some new information in here for you, which is kind of fun. So start thinking about your questions and typing them with the word question before it so I can easily see it in the chat. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to pop into what Amplify is. Cool. Because I've talked about it a ton. And I think it's, if you're here and you're in the sync program and you are working on a music career like you're in this for the long haul, I got to gesticulate. If you're in music and you're creating with your heart and you want to bring in some results so that you can keep creating and finance it and connect with as many people as possible, like you want support ongoingly long-term. Like the lone wolf burns out. The lone wolf will be limited by what the lone wolf knows instead of what an entire community knows. Like it's just no good, right? Okay. So let me see. Oh, let's do that where you can like see me on the slide. Why didn't I do that the whole time? We learn. It's okay. All right. So, oh, look at that. That's kind of trippy. So let me just explain what Amplify is. It is a mastermind with coaching. So it's super cool. And there's the marketing and all the fun stuff. So this mastermind, your mastermind, I'm speaking into the future, right? I have it. There is a future where all 126 of you who is ever watching this join Amplify. So there's 2 live results-driven community calls each month hosted by moi. There's hot seat coaching, meaning you and I have a coaching session and everyone else happens to be watching. And they're super powerful and they're very beautiful. There's an active community for collaboration, feedback, and accountability. You get a small accountability group called a Power Up Pod, P-U-P. So they're pups. Everyone has a pup. You get full workday sessions every semester, whatever you want to call it. They're called MADE days, M-A-D-E, most awesome day of the year, most productive day of the year. And an exclusive invitation to the Ampla Mansion Retreat. This is the only in-person retreat that I host, and it is literally at a mansion. We talk about raising vibrations, right? And like bringing in luxury and wealth and all this stuff. We're literally doing it at a mansion outside of New York City. That's happening in May. So you have to be a member of Amplify in order to apply and come to this ridiculous in-person retreat. You get major discounts and you get my game-changing mini course called The Perfect Pitch, which I talked about briefly, and I'll talk about in one more second. And there's themed content to get you focused. So the themes that we focus on are goal setting, branding, pitching, building team, generating money and managing it, and wellness. I mean, like, you get to be really proficient in all of those topics, which is like, what else do you need, really? Come on. And there are hundreds, I mean, I've been running this for over 7 years, hundreds of searchable videos on music marketing, mindset, and so much more in the Amplify archive. And I think that all of that alone, I could sell that for $2,000. Literally so much content. But it's very well organized and you don't even need to look at it. It's not a course. You're never behind. It's just a community and a communication to the universe. Like, hey, I don't want to be a lone wolf in this anymore. So here's the perfect pitch bonus. It's a really quick class. And you learn the 8 steps to writing a perfect pitch, literally, to music supervisors, venues. People have used this to get thousands of more dollars per gig. I mean, every pitch, every question that you ask that's yes or no question is technically a pitch, like a marriage proposal. So you learn how to do this really well. And there's a lot of templates inside of that. One other bonus I want to tell you about, if you pay yearly for Amplify, which gets you 2 months free, is Rock Your Email List. This is new, people. For anyone that's in Amplify, if you want to upgrade to yearly, Rock Your Email List is now involved. And this is you guys have heard of this, right? This is like the complete course to build, grow, monetize your email list. And there's over 40 templates to send to your email list. So this is anyone that has a fan list. So some of you might be producers and you're not growing a fan list. So that's totally fine. It's a step-by-step approach to authentically attract the right subscribers and turn them into paying customers. You'll dive into the world of providing more value for your fans, creating long-lasting relationships, and generating more consistent income than you ever thought possible. This is good stuff. So this is for if you pay Amplify yearly. So we go through the stages of email marketing stages. Look how clever I am, y'all. Strategy, technology, awareness. How do people find you? Gathering, actually getting the emails, engagement. This is all of the writing. What do you write? How do you engage with them? And then sell. How do you sell to your list without feeling like a car salesman? How often do you sell? What are the subject lines? Like all the stuff. We do all of the stuff in this. There's 11 hours of videos and worksheets. pre-written email templates, and there's a community, although it's not going to be there for very long. All right. So that's the bonus. When you go to inthekey.co/amplify, which is, let's do this little ticker. When you go there, you will see the option to pay yearly or monthly up at the top there. And when you pay yearly, you get Rock Your Email List. And you'll also see this thing on the right, Amplify Access. This gets you into Amplify, but it also gives you one-on-one coaching with me in Telegram, which is a voice memo app. So you can leave voice memos and text me, and you get monthly 24/7 access to me as a coach, your coach. So if you get stuck, if you have a really good knock-knock joke, like, you get to use that for anything that you want. So that gets you in. Okay. So I invite you. This is my official invitation. Will you join Amplify if you're not already in? Because I see this as a really beautiful way to elevate and celebrate your champagne wins. Because that's what we do every month. We're talking about our champagne wins and celebrating them. Like, it is bonanzas in there. So that's Amplify. If you have questions about it, put it in the comments. We did all the things here, including, the bonus opportunity. I forgot about the bonus opportunity. So I'm closing the doors to Amplify in the first week of April. I haven't closed them in a while, but I really want to focus in on the people there. So the bonus opportunity is anyone that signs up today gets an extra bonus call with me, just with the people that signed up today. So that is till midnight Eastern Standard Time if you're watching this live. Yeah, if you sign up after the replay and it's still before I close the doors, I've got another bonus for you. I haven't figured out what it is yet. Maybe it will be a second call and everyone can come to it. I don't know. But I love my bonuses, and I love spending time with you all and getting to know the community. So there's going to be bonuses. So sign up today if you know that it's a thing you want. And we did that. All right. So we are going to get into the Q&As. I'm going to stop the slides and head over to the comments. Thank you so much we're so on time. I love it when things are on time. I'm going to stop the little ticker thing because it's also driving me crazy. Hide. We'll do that. Look at that. Okay. So let me scroll up here so I don't miss any questions. I see. Catherine says Amplify's fantastic. Yay. Catherine is one of our bestest lone wolves, who is also so community-minded, and I love it. It's been so fun to see you change. Oh, yeah. Heather loves the May days. May days are super fun. Michelle, I see your question. And by the way, if I don't get to your question or I didn't see it, you can feel free to type it again. It's all good. What is your routine process for when you want to manifest something? Yeah. So I have a morning routine that I've been doing for 6 years. I've meditated straight 5 minutes minimum. And that kind of just clears me. I have a pile of luminary journals, like literally a pile of them. And I have been writing this in that journal for, the same amount of time, 5 years since I created. Let me just put in the key. I just realized I could do this in the chat box. Sorry, guys. In the key.co/amplify. Should be that link, should be a direct link in the chat box. So, so I have a morning routine. I would do the meditations separately. I would do them when I did a lot of paddleboarding, and I would I would go out and then I would sit on the paddleboard and come back in and just I imagined, and I paddle on a river that's not super wide. And so I always imagined that the trees along the side of the river, you asked, were the people on either side of the aisle that I was walking down to accept the GRAMMY. So I did that for a little bit, but I did a lot of Joe Dispenza meditations. He's got a lot of pulling in events from the future meditations, and I did those. So yeah, that is a big part of it. I use my email list, my fan list for my music, as my accountability group. So anytime I come up with a crazy idea or something that I want to do, a project, I say, I'm going to do this thing. Sometimes people are like, how can I contribute? And I don't have any idea. So I'll just say, here's my Venmo. If you want to contribute, it will go directly to mixing or mastering or whatever costs. And sometimes people just show up that way. Or I might have a very specific, I need you to share this link or something. So I will always, as soon as I want to manifest something, I will always share it with my email list. So that's part of my manifesting process as well. Yeah, perfect pitch makes so much sense. That's not a question. Okay, cool. Difference between Amplify and Amplify Access. Amplify Access is you get monthly coaching with me. We don't have any Zoom sessions, but you get on a Telegram app, which is like WhatsApp, or it's just voice memo, and you get one-on-one coaching with me. 24/7, whenever you feel like it. It's my favorite thing. I have a coach. I always have a coach. It's my favorite thing that she implemented. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do this with people. So Amplify Access gets you into Amplify. So you have the whole community and you have all the resources. So you might be like, hey, I'm really stuck on procrastination. I'll be like, cool, you got to go back and watch the video from January. And then boom, you have access to the content, but you also have access to me. So you get one-on-one coaching all month long. Hope that helps. Let's see. I'm looking for the word question. Can I have more than one champagne win? When you go through the musician success cycle, you'll see that you're only in one phase. And most likely you have one champagne win and then you have a bunch of tasks that you want to accomplish. And some of them might feel bigger and like they're going to feel great when they're done. And like, absolutely, like imagine the future where that thing is done. Great. Yes, absolutely. But I don't think you have multiple champagne wins. I think you have one. And I think having multiples is not going to help the cohesion. It's probably going to cause some chaos. So pick one. Which is more important to you? Cool. Any tips for breaking out of negative mindsets? Yes. Keep attending workshops like this. Get yourself in Amplify. Go through the musician success cycle and start to catch yourself. Getting yourself out of a negative mindset is a skill. And so you have to have a lot of grace with yourself and know that you're practicing it. So maybe right now, 0 out of 10 times you notice it, you just get into this negativity of like, I can't do it. I've worked so hard. Like this, none of this matters. But whatever the thing is for you, that's negative, right? And what if you start noticing 1 out of 10 times? You're like, oh, there's that negativity. Okay, I'm going to go pet my dog. That's going to break me out of that negative mindset. So you got to start noticing it. And then it's 2 out of 10 times that you notice it. And then pretty soon you can real time catch yourself and not create those chemicals. Because when you have these negative thoughts, this goes back into like the mind body connection. When you have those thoughts, those negative thoughts, you're creating chemicals so that you're feeling whatever you're feeling negative, you're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, you're feeling shame, you're feeling guilt, whatever those negative feelings are. So you're hanging out in those low frequencies. You're not attracting anything in. You're not attracting anything except more of that. That's what you're attracting in because that's the frequency that your body's operating at. That's your aura, right? So you want to catch those thoughts and start to have the more positive thoughts. You're going to literally change your brain chemistry and therefore what's going on in your body. So give yourself some grace because it is a skill and start to notice it and get accountability, get support system. And this is literally what I do in Amplify. So there you go. Great question. Really, really great question. You joined at 1 p.m. What did you miss? A lot. So come back and watch it. Yay. I am a Pisces and I know I sort of present as a Virgo. I get it. But I'm super hardcore Pisces. Sally's question. I've envisioned myself on stage in front of the crowd of 500. I want to play for it. It stresses me out to think of having to manage the crew. Do you need to manifest the manager? Okay. Let's show this. I don't know. I'm wondering if the stress around having a crew is just you realizing that being on the stage in front of 500 people is actually outside of your comfort zone. So you're like, what's happening is your brain is like, oh, the crew is going to make that really hard. So you're not actually, what you're telling me right now is you've envisioned playing in front of 500 people, but your body is experiencing stress. So there's chaos, right? There's no coherence there. So if you're playing in front of a crowd of 500, my guess is the opportunity for a manager or for dealing with stage crew will have already handled itself, right? Let me know if you're picking up what I'm dropping here. So there's a little bit of work to do around what playing for 500 people means to you. Do you think that you deserve that? Do you think that you are worthy of that? Do you think that people will want that? Because I'm guessing that that's actually what's causing the stress of managing a crew. And the managing a crew is just some story your brain's making up to have you not actually feel what does it really feel like to be playing in front of 500 people. So I'm going to go with that. Okay. When is the next May Day? Good question. Late April. You're in Amplify. Okay, let's see. Question from Greg. If existing Amplify members want to upgrade, you get Rock Your Email List. Yes, you do. That is the fun part. If you're already at the annual, you're probably at a lower price. So that's the payoff. Meh. And you can go in, Greg, to your portal, same in thekeyofsuccess.com/login. And on the left, it's like upgrade or payment plan, something on the very left. And you'll be able, it literally will say upgrade and it does it automatically. And you don't have to, you just bada bing, bada boom it. Great question. Joe Alexis, what time of day works best for you to feel your dreams coming true? All right. So I know the answer to this and you're not going to like it. And I can get into hardcore pineal gland neuroplasticity talk. This is all Joe Dispenza's studies of like thousands of people with like brain EKGs, everything like hooked up to the brain and body. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, no matter where you are, 4 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of reasons for that scientifically, but the number of times I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning purposely to do that a year is once. And I did it the 2 days after I got nominated for a Grammy because I was like, let's go generate a Grammy. All right. I think it's Joe Alexis. I think the real answer is besides 4 o'clock in the morning. Anytime you have time to sit and feel grounded and to feel safe and you have cleared something that's allowing that to come in. So if that's at night, great. I know some people, like I work best in the morning. Like I get a lot of stuff done before like 11 o'clock in the morning and I can like dream all day long in the afternoon. So for me, it's afternoons. So you got to know yourself. I just want to acknowledge the time. I love you all. I'm going to keep answering questions until I'm done answering questions. You will get an email tomorrow with this replay link. I thank you all for being here. If you have to pop off, I totally understand that. I invite you to join Amplify. I invite you to define your wins and to, if you are in Art of the Song Pitch or any other program, do it as it's meant to be designed if that is the opportunity to assist you to that champagne win. So I really thank you for being here and trusting me with this time. I don't take it lightly that you're here and I appreciate you. And I hope to see you in Amplify. Our bonus call will be later this week. Okay. So the name of the journal on Amazon. Oh, Tracy, if you're still here, can you just go to Amazon and find the link? I don't know. Wait, you know what? I can do it. I can do it. Amazon. This is why I, Luminary Cheryl. I'm just going to see if it comes up if I type Luminary and Cheryl. Yes. So I have an album called Luminary, so that's a little confusing. So I'm just going to share this link, copy link, and put it in the chat box and see if that, there's my Luminary journal. 12 bucks and it's amazing. Great question. Okay. I'm looking for more questions. This has been amazing. Maddie, thank you so much for being here. Elise, thank you. Okay. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions. Oh my God, the great get gone. I don't know what your name is, but I'm excited to have you and to find out what your real name is. Let me just go up and make sure I didn't, did I miss anybody? If I missed your question, please feel free to type it again. I'm sorry. I don't know if I think I got them all. All right, y'all. You're amazing. I am excited for your manifestation journey. I'll send a couple of emails to just make sure you're great. And thank you for being here. Have a beautiful, fabulous rest of your day.